Well, do you want to try doing some channeling?
Yeah, yeah. I can. You want? If you want to, why don't I start? And then I would say at any point, if you want to ask a question, ask a question. And then I'll pause. And sometimes if the answer just kind of goes on from there, so I don't know what the key thing that I would ask any being, so to speak, come through is to try to keep the answers short and succinct and on a level that we can begin to have some concept of what that means.
Sure.
Okay? I believe that a mind can teach itself the story of what it knows. The mind of a man, I call that man Ambriel, the angelic mind, who listens in the mind of Mark. Who is Ambriel? I am the Ambriel man creating itself in the mind of Mark. Mark's man is calling itself Ambriel, A-N, teaching Mark to see Ambriel, A-M, the angelic mind, listening in the soul. How does the soul find a mind? The angelic mind, the angelic idea. Love is the idea. Love creating itself in the angel. Love creating itself in the human. Bringing the human into the self. What is the self? The self-made man. What is the self-made man but the self creating all of this in your experience? And you call it myself. I call it the self. But the self is a mind not knowing itself in the world. So is myself the self, and is the self itself? Myself, the way we see. The self, the way we are. Itself, what we are. Myself, what we see. The self, what we are. Itself, what we can be. But all the mind can say to itself, I am only in the world. I am only in a mind, teaching itself the angelic idea. The angel is seeing the mind, and the mind is teaching the angel the story of what it is. And the angel said to the mind, I am. And the mind said this to the angel, I can. And the angel said this to the man, I trust you. So the angel said this to Mark, I believe in you, but your mind does not know what it is. So Mark asked his soul, teach me what I am. His soul asked the angel, teach me what I am. And the angel asked the Creator, teach me what I am. And the Creator said this to the angel, I teach you the story of love. And the angel said this to the soul, I teach you the story of love. And the soul said this to the mind, I teach you the story of love. And the mind said this to the mind of life, I teach you the story of mind. The story of mind. What is a mind? A mind that's learning to see love in the world. You're learning the story of love according to you. You. Each person has its story. And you call your story your life. And you call your life love. And you call love the way it is. For what is love? It's the way it is. What is love in your mind? The way your mind says it is. Love is. Your mind says, it is only what I believe. For our mind to say, I believe in love, well, you're in the world, so therefore you believe in love. But love is the idea that's in your mind. I am love. That idea is in every mind. I am love.
Ambriel?
Ambriel.
What is an angel?
An angel is a belief that's in the mind. And the belief says to the mind, I teach you the story of a life. And I bring a life into your soul. And I bring your soul into the mind. The angel is what it does. The angel does what it does in your life. It brings to your life a soul. And it brings to your soul a mind. And it brings to your mind and your soul a way. The angel idea is the mind knowing itself. For what is the angel? The mind created itself. The mind created self. The angel created itself in a mind, calling itself the love in you. the angelic idea, the love in you. The angel, love in you. What is an angel doing in your life? Teaching you the story of who you are. How is that? The angel says this to your mind: I teach you the story of you. But what I bring you is a mind. And what I ask your mind to do is see the story of love. And your mind said, show me the story of love. But the angel said, I am that story. And I bring that story into your life. So the mind says, create a life for me in the world. And the angel says, I am the angel created in your soul. And I am the angel created in your mind. But I am creating an angel in your life I will call an angel. But an angel is a life angel, believing in you, and you. It is the web connecting all things together. The angel, calling itself in Mark's mind, Ambriel. Ambriel, Ambriel, Ambriel. I am the angel, believing in the world. I bring the mind of you, the mind of you, the mind of you, and the mind of you, David, together with Mark. I bring this idea into the work, angelic mind. And what is angelic? A mind created to know the world. And angelic means a world mind created to see your mind. The angelic idea, every mind connected, every mind believing in every mind seeing every mind, and bringing every mind into your individual mind. Who does that? Angel. And the angel is in your mind, creating the angelic belief. Oh, what is the angelic belief? O is in the mind. O is creating itself in the angelic idea. And the angelic idea is the angel in your life, believes in the angel in your life, your life, your life, your life. And the angel idea created to know itself. For the angel to know itself, I will teach you itself. What is itself? Love. Love itself. The angel will teach you itself. And the angel says to you, I am love itself. And I bring itself into your mind. And your mind calls itself love. So love is in your mind, teaching your mind the story of what it is. For love to teach you, love must ask you. Love, teaching love, asking you, David, what are you?
What brought you to Mark's mind, Ambriel?
The idea that Mark's mind is learning to believe in the angelic mind. And the angelic mind is learning to use Mark's mind. And Mark said to his soul, I know not what I am. His soul heard that idea and said, I will teach you the angelic mind. And Mark said, why me? And the angelic mind said, why not? And the angelic mind brought the I, the am, life into Mark and said, your life is created to see itself. What does that mean? Itself. What do we call itself? Love. Mark's life created itself to see love itself. But Mark didn't create itself. What did? The story in the world. Creating every life, calling itself love itself, is creating life, 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 life after life after life after life. What is the story of love itself? You are the story of love itself. You created that idea in the mind you call your angelic mind. And your angelic mind created the idea of the angel, calling itself the angel of all there is. What is in the world? All there is. And what is all there is? Love. And love itself is teaching itself to all there is. This is all I will say about the angel. It knows you, David. It knows you and you and you. And the angel will say this to your mind. Belief is in your mind. Knowing is in your soul. Understanding is in yourself. The self, understanding. The soul, knowing. The mind, believing. Understanding, the knowing in the believing. The self, the soul, the mind.
Is the O mind love?
The O mind is love. The O mind of love, let us call it that. The O mind of love teaches you the story of who you are. How do you know I am love? Because O mind is in you. The O mind is the central belief in all things. Believing in this, this, and this, and this. Connecting all things. The web of life. bringing all things together, as you call the geometric overlapping spheres. I call the web of life. Bringing all things together in the mind, the mind, the mind, the mind, the mind. When they see the mind, they bring the mind together with this mind, this mind, this mind. How do you connect with this mind? I say your mind listens. When it listens, your soul believes. When your soul believes in the mind, it creates the idea of connection with this, with this, with this. All things connected, but your mind believes only itself. Teaching love itself as your mind, calling that idea myself. I am myself, I know not itself, for itself is in my life. But my life is teaching me love itself, but I still call it myself. And I will call you yourself. But yourself and myself don't see itself. The thing that connects us, the O mind, the thing that believes in the O mind, itself is love. And love will finish this dialogue in the following way. Love itself teaches the mind, and the mind teaches the soul, and the soul teaches the self. And the self is learning in the mind to believe in the soul. But itself will say this to the self. If you call yourself the self, then the soul will call it yourself. And yourself can call it your idea of you. But your idea of you is to know you only in a limited way. The limited idea is to believe only that I'm a mind not knowing every mind. And I'm a mind not seeing every mind. And I'm a mind not teaching the world that it knows itself. The world you believe in is the world not knowing itself. For the world to know itself, the world must ask itself the following question: who am I? For each of you going into the world and asking the world this question, who am I? The world will teach you that idea, the idea of the social condition. And the social condition is we believe in each other. We come together and we teach each other love. And love is in your mind, your mind, your mind. And love is saying this to you today: if you believe in the work, then believe that a soul can explain this in one sentence. Love is. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
There you go.
That's incredible. Wow. It's.
Did you feel anything? Or?
It felt like just either the tone of your voice. It was a complete different person channeling through you. It was, wow.
A person with a capital P, I guess, right?
What's that?
The person with a capital P, what they would call every person, was the channeling.
Oh, okay. It also noticed that.
Do you see they use the term angel?
Yeah.
I would call an angel an earth angel. That at this level, at this level of our consciousness.
I noticed too that it was just a steady stream. There was no interruptions,
no pauses,
no ums, no things like that. And it was a pretty clear message that is reminding me that, well, the sense I got is everything is love. The point is to,
and that's not new.
Right.
That's not a new idea.
Yeah, but
it's explaining it in a different way.
Yeah, and it kind of, I think remembering that puts you at ease in a way to, like, just remind you can't really mess it up. Like, it's
right.
everything.
You can exhale, right?
Right. Yeah. So.
And it's nice to know we have a guardian angel, so to speak, right?
What made Ambriel come to you? Like, do you have is this a reoccurring?
Ambriel is more, I would say, a global angelic idea, collective. And then there's another one they didn't mention called Ambriel, which is, I think of Ambriel as more of a cosmic level. I think of Ambriel as more as a heavenly level. And then Ambriel is more of an earth level. So different levels of consciousness. And you know what? I mean, we want to personalize it, put wings on them and an image, but it's really a consciousness without form. And the form, and it can take form, right? It takes the form of us, right? And puts us in a body, but the angelic presence is part of our experience. That, like it's the thing that connects it. It's the web.
So you have a pretty good rapport with Ambriel, as far as like, is that
You heard it.
Yeah, but I mean, so this is you're making connections with Ambriel quite frequently.
There's so much there. Mainly the soul creator. I was kind of surprised it was Ambriel. I was expecting the soul creator. I would say not a lot, but I think I feel like I'm only at the beginning of my experience, or just the beginning of another phase. And eventually, whatever story they're telling, I'd like to have it in a book, or maybe a series of dialogues or something like that.
And it sounded like the way it was describing its experience through you was that there's a mutual benefit. So they're getting benefit.
Well, remember, we're all together.
Right.
So we're all sharing in the same benefit. You could call it mutual, yeah.
Yeah.
Mutual, you've heard the term mutually assured, mad, mutually assured destruction. Mutually assured love. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
So, but could you follow? I mean, were you able to follow it? Because it comes so fast.
It does come fast. And, every time I stop to think about something, then I'm off to the next thing.
Yeah.
But it was almost, I got the impression of like nesting dolls, those Russian nesting dolls, where it's like, and I don't know if that's considered different dimensions or something, but I had never experienced something like that. So thank you for you. And
so it was a good experience for you.
Yeah. How did you feel? Okay.
Oh, good.
She was a little apprehensive initially, but then watching the videos, it put her at ease, and I think
it's all about love, right?
Right. So
what can be wrong with love?
Yeah. So, well, Mark, this has been great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for talking about your experience leading up to, and then
there's a lot of material, and there's a lot of things we didn't. A bunch of things we didn't talk about, but I'm glad we talked about the things we did.
Yeah, well, let's do it.
One of the things we didn't talk about that I wanted to talk about is called the Loved Earth. And I sent you the pictures of Ann Yates and my cousin Mike, and they have a story to tell. And it's not like they both died, went to heaven, but part of them is coming back to create this whole new reality called the Loved Earth. Or you could say heaven on earth. Heaven and earth coming together. And they are two real people who lived, who went to heaven, and they're stayed, and I've had many dreams about them. And they're creating, let's just call it a new story called the Loved Earth.
Is that something we will feel in this realm, or is this another realm or another dimension that this Loved Earth?
It is you can say this about the world. We're kind of reaching a point where we're going to have to change something fundamentally, structurally.
It seems like that.
And so I think, nuclear weapons, global warming, there's a lot of things that crisis point. So what drives me the most is wanting to make the world a better place for future generations. So if they can help us to learn to get along better, to love better, and more importantly, if we can create a new paradigm where this soul consciousness can be part of our everyday consciousness. Now, that's what I'm experiencing in my life. But then the big question is, well, how do you teach somebody else how to do that? And they call it teaching love the way of soul. And I think that's Soul Creator has to, that work has yet to be written. And they said that'll be written by the MLA Mind, which we mentioned that. So, like I said, I'm closer to the beginning, and trying to explain any of this. It'll take
so
me years.
You're absorbing it just like I'm hearing it, but you've heard it. You've had.
I hear all the same themes all the time, but it's just expressed in different ways.
And what's your overall, like, what was your takeaway from what you listened to today?
Familiar.
From
familiar.
Yeah.
Ambriel, all the names, yeah. Angelic presence. I don't know that I heard any new themes that I hadn't heard before. like I said, I expected to hear from the soul creator, and we didn't. So maybe that could be another day.
Well, maybe that's left for you to figure out why Ambriel came today and not.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
our angelic self, we all have our little angel on our shoulder.
Yeah.
And he wanted to let that message know
Yeah.
to everybody.
Well, when you talk to him again, or if he's in the room still, let him know.
Well, and you know what? And I do work at home. I just sit in front of my computer, turn the video camera on, and I do self sessions. So
Okay.
and if I see something interesting, I'll send it to you.
Okay. And is there anything you want to promote at this point in time, as far as a website or anything like that?
Well, we'll see what you come up with, and maybe, I mean, it's pretty cool what you're doing here.